stream button once again. So it seems like we are now officially live. There was a delay. So guys, welcome back to another episode of Boxmining. March 26th, already Friday, and we survived through a massive dip that hit the markets. As you guys can see here, there was a lot of red yesterday on the markets, and a lot of people were freaking out, but we are surviving today. Seems like in the past 24 hours, there hasn't been any major drops so far. We're reaching perhaps what we see here is a really strong support. Now we're going to look at some of the circulating main pieces of fear, uncertainty, and doubt on the market. There was a lot of reasons, right? We saw yesterday, I was like, I did take a look at what crypto media was saying and trying to, for them to try to explain the dip. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work. We'll talk and explore about that in today's episode. Like for example, there was talk about a GBTC discount. So explain what the GBTC discount means and how that comes into play. Then we have a massive futures expiring today. So March 26th is a day, $6.1 billion of Bitcoin futures are going to expire. The March futures are in. It's actually going to happen in around 5 hours from now. So we're super close to that. And that was causing a little bit of shakiness on the market. We'll take a look at that. But just keep in mind, it's going to be over in 5 hours. And we'll see what the effects on the funding rate that is going to be. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Bitcoin ETF. So this has been something that's been going on for years. I mean, but this time is different. So what is an ETF? We'll talk about what this is, why this has a positive impact on the market if it does pass through the SEC's hands. And we'll explore a little bit about what Fidelity is doing there. So this new ETF is created by a subsidiary of Fidelity. There's also a lot of news to go through. I have like a million tabs open on top, so it's going to be an action-filled episode today. So make sure you guys smash up the likes if you guys like these videos. I'm trying to do a few more, obviously, and the likes really do help. It really helps this channel grow. It helps everything move forward. So if you guys are coming in, I really do appreciate you smashing those likes, clicking the subscribe, because you're going to get more videos like this, less clickbaitiness, more information. I've been seeing some complaints about, oh my god, crypto YouTube, it's so scammy and stuff. Like, look guys, if you want good content, well, you got to upvote the good ones, right? So less clickbaity content, more solid information. That's what this channel is here for, and that's what, you know, we're all doing here. So smash those likes up, encourage this channel, spread this channel to really love it for you if you guys can do that. So guys, let's get started, and let's start and hit the intro. All right, let's take a look on the market. Let me see if I can actually put my video camera here. That's cool. Now we see, now you see my camera there. So yes, the markets, we're down a little bit. $51,000 for the price of Bitcoin, $1,600 for the price of Ethereum. In fact, the ETH actually moved up quite a bit recently. So you can guys see the last 7 days, it was a pretty major dip yesterday, caused the markets to be a little bit afraid and shaky. But actually today, let me just double refresh that a little bit again. We're seeing a lot of green today on a lot of the alts as well. So Theta is up like 17%. XRP is up too. You definitely see that kind of the recovery from the scare of yesterday. Yesterday, I feel like what felt like, you know, if you just take a look at CoinGecko and just refresh, I was like, oh, it was all red, like double digits, all red. It was one of those bloody days. But right now, we definitely see a little bit of that recovery coming in. And you definitely see like a lot of movement too. Anchor is up like 50%. Qtum is also up 30, Theta, XRP, we got PancakeSwap also up. So you definitely see that it's a little more balanced here relative to yesterday. So yesterday was pretty depressing, I would say, too, for a lot of people. But okay, so one of the biggest questions is obviously why, right? Bitcoin prices fell to $51,000. There was this fear that Bitcoin was going to drop below $50,000. That was a point that we're really looking at, and there was a lot of fear on the market. So let me take a quick look at the chart. Let me just open the charts up here. Take a quick look, and we'll talk about a lot of the reasons why. So okay, here's my take on it. So I wasn't too concerned, to be honest, yesterday. I know that people were looking at $50,000 for that major kind of like I feel like people who are looking for that local minimum, they wanted to see that support pop in. For me, technically speaking, I was looking at $46,000, $45,000 to really see if we're gonna retest this support that we saw in early or late February, early March. But 40,000, 50,000 is still a very huge number for people. I saw that mostly on social media. People were like, "Oh my God, if what will happen when Bitcoin drops below, say $50,000, or we're going to get hit 45 immediately?" That was most of the fear that was happening, especially when we saw these major dips that happened roughly on the 24th at around 10 a.m. So I say 10 p.m. rather. So that was when the dip happened. That was when the freakouts happened. And then we saw the markets kind of really just said, no, there is support here. You know, that's that does seem to be what's happening. And then I was really eyeing to see if this was an entry point. Okay, so why was that? What was causing this, right? The biggest reason that I could really see, all right, I mean, let me just go for this one here, was what was the FUD? So this was the Friday expiry of $6.1 billion, right? So this is a huge Bitcoin options expiry on the market. This is aggregated by multiple exchanges, of course, but overall, combining a lot of these markets, you saw a total of $6.1 billion potentially exchanging hands, depending on where Bitcoin is going to go. So there's a lot of money driving factor trying to kind of change the market so people minimize or maximize their profits. So minimize loss, maximize profits when these contracts expire. So that's around in 5 hours. So there was a lot of battle. You can see it as like it's like a set time for a battle to take place between the bears and the bulls in the space. Now, interestingly enough, like a lot of this centers around this $45,000 mark, where there were quite a few put options there. So the option to sell at this price. So if Bitcoin does dump below $45,000, people who had these options are going to make a lot of money. So there was this kind of fear that these people would try to manipulate the market in such a way to dump it below $45,000. But obviously that didn't happen, right? So the battle, it was taking place, but I think it was a lot more balanced than a lot of people thought. And one of the other indices I actually look at in combination with these call and put option interest is also the funding rates, right? So this is when you look at the perpetual futures for the markets as well. And it really gives you a ratio of who is bullish and who is long rate, who is bullish or who is bearish, rather. So typically speaking, what happens if there's a positive funding rate, it suggests that speculators are bullish and long traders pay funding to the short traders. And this is actually something that we see right now on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. There is a positive sign on this, right? So sometimes you see negative signs, sometimes you see positive signs. A positive funding rate right now suggests that traders are bullish. So you definitely see some tipping scales happening. It's not very strong. All right, I would say that the positive is not very strong. Sometimes we see very, very large numbers for positive, but we definitely see that there is that shift of momentum where traders are now very, very bullish on what is happening right now. Mikhail S says, Michael just trying to say just freaking buy Bitcoin. Absolutely. So we saw that bit of FUD. That was what's happening. Now, there was another piece of information that was also quite important that was discussed, which is the GBTC. So this was circulating around a few of the main kind of media sites, and this what really happened, right? Why was this important and why people felt this was bearish was because previously speaking, right, if you look at the history of Grayscale BTC Trust, this was a way for institutions to get in. It had a positive, right? It had a cost, a premium to buy this. This meant that for the longest time, right, so all the way from April 2020 to roughly right now to March, there was people were buying in and they were willing to pay a premium for Grayscale BTC. So this was a way of saying, oh, wow, the institutional interest is greater, right? That they're willing to pay extra to get exposure to GBTC. Right. But now what was substantial and why people were a little bit concerned was that the premium not only fell, but it dipped into the negative. Right. This was a bad sign. I mean, if positive meant that institutions were very interested about Bitcoin, what does negative mean? Do they mean that they're freaking out, they're panicking, just dumping and leaving? Well, actually, no. All right, this is where I felt like if you on the outside it might look like that, right? If you suddenly switched over, if the sign suddenly flipped, it would look like as if the institutional investors are leaving. But there's some nuances to this too. There's some nuances to this too. So first of all, let's just explain what this is first of all, right? So GBTC. GBTC is a way for institutional investors to get in because there's no Bitcoin ETF right now. They can really only buy this if say a large fund wants to invest in Bitcoin. They can't really just buy Bitcoin directly on the markets. The custodial solutions for that just isn't good enough because, of course, it's not an individual. If I'm an individual, I purchase Bitcoin, that's great. I keep it on a ledger, I store it myself, I'm my own bank, I'm safe. But if it's some institution that's managing billions of dollars, you can't just take someone's retirement fund money, buy Bitcoin, and then store it in some accountant's wallet because there's going to be troubles, I just say that. So this is really where this GBTC comes in, which allows people and institutions to have exposure to Bitcoin whilst allowing for a third party to custody those Bitcoins, right? So that's kind of the purpose. Now, but the downside here, that there is a service fee. There's a service fee of 2% per year on GBTC. And this is why the prices of GBTC, well, rather the premium of GBTC is falling, is because it costs money. Like, why would I want to pay 2% of the entire fund, all right, of all my money every year to these guys to just help me hold Bitcoin? That doesn't make sense. And I feel like this is where the negative pressure is coming from, right? This is why people are dumping. It's right, not because they think Bitcoin is over, but because better solutions are coming out. So I feel like this is a major situation where, people just don't want that 2% fee anymore. So I wouldn't really read this as, oh, institutions are dumping Bitcoin. I felt like that was what was circulating around the market. But I was read this, and you definitely see this as well. There was a, let me go for, I saved this up, but the problem is like there's so many articles right now that there was an explanation for this. Okay, let's see. So this is all giving a preview. Let me just double search that right now. Give me a sec. GBTC premium. So yeah, Grayscale kind of explains why the premium was collapsing. They're basically talking about the ETF is in a eventuality. So this is something that's kind of going to replace the positioning of their product on the market. So, okay, now let's just talk a little bit about the ETF as well. So all of this relates to how institutions can get into Bitcoin. All right, so this is the grand problem to solve, and this is a problem that we've been discussing since 2017. Really, 2017 during the bull cycle, there was a lot of eyes looking for a Bitcoin ETF to bring more exposure to Bitcoin, bring more entry points to Bitcoin. Right, that was one of the major topics, and we're seeing that come back in again. And also, of course, I think something that Grayscale definitely sees in this case is that their product, the Trust, just cannot rival, it can't touch ETFs. ETFs are an eventuality. And what's happening? What's the biggest one that's being pushed right now is the one that is being dealt by Fidelity Capital. So let me just bring up. So this is like, I have to apologize one thing, which is like when I have too many too many tabs open, it does become a pretty big problem, right? So anyway, just bear with me for a second whilst I bring out the article on news on that. So what is it? Fidelity news. All right, so Fidelity launching a Bitcoin ETF. All right, so this is after CNBC was talking about this. So this is the newest push. So Fidelity is planning. So this is through a subsidiary that's planning to launch another ETF. So we've seen in the past that ETFs didn't go through, and the reason why is because of the SEC. All right, so the SEC last time was very concerned about potential market manipulation for Bitcoin, and they didn't approve the product. Right, so that was a big disappointment back in 2017, 2018, is that there were basically 3 or 4 attempts to make this ETF happen, and all of them really got turned down. Right, so that was in the SEC. It was basically saying there was a point around 3 years ago when the SEC just said, you know what, this stuff, too volatile. Looking at this one, they gave a comment, way too volatile, way too prone to manipulation, and then they said no, we don't want to approve this ETF. Now we're trying again all the way back in now 2021. The markets are a little bit more stable, which is why it's kind of more interesting to look at, right? To get to make another one. Obviously, this one's backed by Fidelity, big name in this space. Obviously, you guys know, and this is very important to see where the SEC stands. So it's like, okay, if you want to say it, like obviously the ETF itself would bring more interest into crypto, especially institutional investors. And we definitely saw that too this year because Coinbase, you guys know, they're launching an IPO in the United States, and they're going to get a lot of also institutional investors involved because right now they kind of proven that this market is very profitable. But anyways, this ETF is another way to bring institutional, especially old money into this space. And also, the more important thing is also to see where the SEC stands on this, right? Because if the ETF passes, it's almost like the SEC saying, you know what, this stuff is okay to trade. You know, that's kind of what people are looking for, right? It's like this kind of like implicit understanding, right? Oh yeah, the SEC approved it. You know, before they were concerned about manipulation, they rejected it. But if this passes, it means that manipulation risk is far less now than before. So it gives a lot more confidence to this space. So that's kind of where it's going. So this is right now, it hasn't been approved yet. Obviously, it's going to be a while for this to happen. But this is what people are looking for. This is what people are eyeing in this circumstance. All right. Also, guys, thank you guys so much for joining. So I saw a donation, Amateur Gamer. Thank you so much for a donation. We got SoX. Welcome to Team Crypto, guys. Thank you guys so much for your support, guys. I really appreciate it. This channel is a very community channel. We're trying to do as much as we can to stay off too much hype, and we're trying to give solid information. So I really appreciate your support, both Amateur Gamer and SoX. Thank you guys so much. And guys, whilst you guys are at it, if you guys like news updates like this, which are filled with insight, right? Not just reading what's out there, but have an actual insight and understanding into what's happening and being critical about it, do smash up the likes. This is what really drives the channel and makes it awesome. All right, let's go quickly lightning rounds to the rest of a lot of the remaining news that we see happening. So we definitely see a lot of this plot information, and this is absolutely true. Blockchain data is definitely suggesting that traders are buying the dip, and we saw that a lot yesterday. Absolutely happening. This is also quite interesting. This was New Zealand retirement fund reportedly allocates 5% to Bitcoin. Yes. It's kind of interesting, right? Like news like this, like I feel so old bringing this stuff up, but 5 years ago, this would have been just crazy, right? This would have been an impossibility, but it is happening now with like larger and larger funds and institutions are buying into Bitcoin, and that's kind of interesting. So this is from Kiwi Saver. Thank you, Kiwi Saver. And something that I also say, it's not just retirement funds, but also like say Meitu Shou, which is a Chinese company. They followed Tesla's suit, Tesla's example, and bought Bitcoin. And of course, I think the biggest kind of news this week overall, I don't want to forget, is that Tesla itself is going to accept Bitcoin as a way to buy Teslas. This is going to be awesome. I mean, you can guys just go directly and buy. And even though like I seen that, this was a big news and there's like everything, everyone's discussing that, right? But there has been a little bit of fear, uncertainty, and doubt on that too, because we saw one of the top articles, I was reading this from CoinDesk, that says it's not easy to buy Tesla with Bitcoin. It's not. And okay, here's what I read into this, right? Whilst this is an article designed to catch people's attention, because we know for a fact that Elon tweeted that yes, you can buy a Tesla with BTC directly, and he's not even going to sell that BTC, right? He's not going to say, oh, BTC is just a method of payment. He's going to take that BTC and keep that. Right. And we know that for a fact that right now, Tesla on their balance sheets, they bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. So you know exactly where Elon's heart lies, right? So a few things, right? So people are complaining, okay, no Bitcoin discount. I don't think that's a complaint, right, guys? guys. We shouldn't expect a Bitcoin discount anymore, right? This guy's buying Bitcoin and he's keeping Bitcoin. I think what more can you ask, right? Stop asking for discounts every day, all right? If this is making into the major headlines as, oh, no BTC discount, like how privileged do we have to be, right? Relax, calm down here. Okay, so first of all, no BTC discount. Okay, whoopee, whatever. But the other thing I think that is valid in this article is that if the Bitcoin address is entered incorrectly, your Bitcoin may be irretrievably lost or destroyed. I think this is actually quite important. It's essential for people using Bitcoin. I think people who have been using Bitcoin know this already. So yes, I know this is it's a part of being your own bank, right? Being your own bank means you double check your own stuff. So I'm kind of answer that to say, if you're in the crypto space, yes, you have to learn how to enter an address correctly, and it's not super easy. All right, I'm not gonna trivialize this because it is a large number of digits, and sometimes, right? Sometimes people do make mistakes, and I think it's incorrect to blame the user on this. But anyways, I just found it kind of interesting. It is a barrier to adoption. Recently, you guys probably know that I've made an interview with the guys at Ethbox. They're trying to produce a product that's essentially allows for people to, if there was an accidental wrong sending, you can still retrieve it. And I feel like something like this is actually very key in the future for overall adoption, where you put it into this kind of middle contract where if there's a wrong address or send it to the wrong person, well, fine, you can retrieve a little bit of that. But anyways, regardless, right now, if you buy Tesla with Bitcoin, if you send it to the wrong address, well, sucks to be you. It'll be lost forever. That could be like worth $50,000 worth of BTC. So if you ever do want to buy Bitcoin buy Tesla with your Bitcoin, do make sure you send it to the right address. That's all I can say. All right. Next up, in terms of news, this is kind of interesting too. Actually, wait. Let me just read some comments up here. So, just first of all, thank you guys so much for a donation. SoulX just upgraded his membership to Mini Whale, so thank you. Massive respect, Mini Whale. Over there, we got William Taylor. Do you see the labs pump today? We'll definitely take a look at what's happening with labs and everything else. And then we got what is this? I saw a Tesla comment here. Why is everyone chanting "Daddy Shark do 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 do"? Right? Baby Shark do 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 do. All right, that thing got stuck in my head so much. But anyways. I saw a comment. Can you trade a Tesla for more BTC? Can you trade a Tesla for more BTC? Says Val rocks hard. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a secondary market that takes BTC. That would be, but yeah, that would be interesting. All right. Okay. So moving on to the rest of the news, we got Kathy Wood. She likes to make the media news, but this is actually interesting. This is like an interesting comment from her. So she says BTC investors shouldn't transact until tax code changed. All right, this is to those Americans out there. So selling or transacting your Bitcoin isn't worth the tax burden, says the CEO of ARK Invest. Very, very interesting. I do think like this is where I would say it is one of my biggest weaknesses because I have virtually no understanding of U.S. law, U.S. tax law. I'm not American, first of all. Also, I don't in Hong Kong we don't have any capital gains tax. That means we can trade cryptocurrencies freely and we can take profits without giving any tax to the government, right? So this is not a this is not a tax. This is not a taxable event in Hong Kong where you can buy and sell. So we can transact whenever we want and not be burdened by this. But I do know I have friends that are Americans, and this is a very, very important point of contention, right? Where yes, if you do buy and sell right now, you have to report that, which is one of the biggest problems with Coinbase because they automatically report that for you on your behalf. And then you must make sure that you file that correctly with the IRS. Otherwise, taxman, yeah, not a government body that you really want to mess with, to be honest. So in that case, is this I'm thinking like this could be interesting because I know a lot of people hodl. So if you hodl and you don't make any trades, that could be interesting. Or the other alternative is you just take it out of the exchange, right? And then you deal with it yourself. That could be a possibility too. Now, tax is becoming a very big burden. I think there is a need to change U.S. tax laws. And one of the reasons why a lot of cryptocurrency people are super excited about obviously Tesla accepting Bitcoin is also, I think, to due to tax reasons too, right? Because if you directly buy a commodity with a commodity, right, that shouldn't be a taxable event because I don't think it enters fiat. Anyways, don't quote me on that, but I think there is a little bit of a nuance there. But no one's saying this because it's obviously no one wants to offend, piss off the IRS and say, look, we found a way to evade taxes. But that could be an interesting thought where you buy a commodity with Bitcoin, which depends on how you want to view it. But if you buy Tesla with Bitcoin, does that mean you're not trading it too? Interesting, right? Anyways, it's technically a trade, right? Like, I mean, if you're trading watches or you're trading Pokemon cards, that's not taxable, right? Anyways, don't quote me on that too. I don't know, but it changes the game. All right, cool. So, anyways, that was kind of interesting. You guys might want to pay attention to that. This is also interesting on the regulation side. I felt Crypto Mom warns about fractionalizing NFTs. It could be breaking the law. This is very interesting because we saw non-fungible tokens, collector pieces of art, right? And then we've seen that there was an immediate response to that. So say art could be very expensive, right? But what if we can fractionalize that art? Say, for example, the Beepos art that everyone knows about that sold for $69 million, right? Now, can you fractionalize that? Take that into, split that into a million pieces and sell it for $6 each or $6.9 each. That could be something interesting for collectors, right? I'll now have a fraction of something. We know that this, in terms of technology, is super easy to do in crypto. So, but does it have a legal kind of ramifications? Is this now a security? Very, very interesting. Now, the biggest issue, right? So after looking at US law for a long time, yet again, not a lawyer, but I've been to a lot of classes to learn about what is happening. A lot of what happens and what's dictated about a security is very, very vague. I mean, that's, I think, every opener that every lawyer that talks about securities says is that they tell you that US securities law is very, very vague. And I think it's intentional. Right? It's intentionally vague. There are tests to prove if something may not be, or okay, look, how we test is not a test to prove that something is not a security. All right, I want to put that straight out. But how we test is kind of a guideline to tell you if there are traits of it being a security. All right, so that's why everyone looks at it. This is why a lot of people refer to the Howey test. But the Howey test is not a definitive proof. It doesn't prove that it's not a security. But anyways, regardless, if you fractionalize it, can this trigger and become a positive for a security? Crypto Mom suggests maybe so, and that's kind of a barrier to NFT fractionalization. But anyways, we'll have to see how it goes. I feel like if you don't know by now, right now, the legality, the formal legality of everything here is very, very vague, right? This has been a big problem facing crypto. It's something that we dealt with over the years, right? And for the longest time, there was this worry of whether Ethereum itself is a security or not, or even if Ripple is a security or not. Recently, probably saw the delisting of Ripple, and these are ongoing. These cases are actually going to be these landmark cases that dictate the flow of the future, right? But they're still not settled yet. A lot of these cases have not reached a conclusion yet, which leaves us in this kind of very gray area. And I mean, that's something that we unfortunately have to be comfortable with. We got Mark Carter says, I want a Cybertruck. That would be, I don't know. I don't know about that. Cybertrucks are cool. I think it's like Elon stumbled on something that is actually really vital. If I'm in the US, I would rather sit in a Cybertruck. I'm Asian. I don't want to get shot. So yeah, it makes sense, right? But anyways, no more grim stuff here. But we also got Silverback Stacker says, ignore SEC, continue number one, ignore SEC. Number two, continue excluding U.S. citizens. It's kind of sad, right? Kind of sad right now, but it is true. A lot of a lot of projects are not accepting US citizens. Even for trade exchanges, right? A lot of exchanges are not accepting US residents or citizens. And, unfortunately, you just have to wait for legal clarity. Sad times, sad times. Dennis C says, why is March always a red month? I think it is, but it's been redder before. I think, okay, look, digressing a bit, we'll continue on the news in a sec. I do want to take this little bit of a break and just relate something. Like, it sucks to see the market going red, right? Yesterday I woke up and I was like, oh my God, like, it was shocking to look at Cointelegraph, right? Not CoinGecko. That's always the first thing I do in the morning. I grab my phone. All right, CoinGecko, tell me what's happening. All right, boom, full page of red. Right, everything down 10-20%. Oh my God, right? Bitcoin nearing 50,000. Oh, hope we don't dip below that. It feels bad, obviously, but at the same time, deep down inside, as someone who's been in the space for a long time, you know that the market needs a time to go down. Right? The number can't just keep going up. I mean, if number keeps going up, everyone that's a veteran in the space is preparing for a major crash, right? That's going to wipe us out to zero. But if you kind of release a lot of attention by these dips, it makes a lot more sense, right? It gives a lot more entry points for institutional investors, long-term holders to enter. I mean, people who are, if number keeps going up, people are very much just like throwing money blindly. But if number goes down, this is when people start to think, right? And this is actually really good for the market. So I think very early on this chat, there was a comment that said, this dip means that we can go much further up. And I totally believe that. It sucks to see number go down because obviously I have a lot of crypto holdings too. But at the end of the day, if going down actually means right now, especially at this state, right? I still remember the 2018 crashes. It was like 20% every day after like for a week. Right, and then it just took the market cap completely down, like half. Right, it was a very, very big collapse, and this is definitely not happening at this point. So all right. So okay, let's continue. Let's finish up the news. I think we're almost done here. Okay, so yeah. So Elon says Tesla now accepts Bitcoin. Yeah, we talked about that already. So yeah, we got the Fidelity files for Bitcoin ETF. We saw that already. Oh, we have this is kind of interesting. If you guys are collectors, there's Polkamon. So Polkamon, not Pokemon. Polkamon. Polkamon is polka dot Polkamon. Polkamon, you can claim your eggs at this current point. So if you guys are interested into claiming an egg, it's actually not expensive. So you can just like connect your wallet and then you can click the claim button, which is something that I've done. It did cost me around $10 in terms of gas fees, but if you do this, you might have some cool Pokemon to play with in the future. And with all these NFTs, right? This is an opportunity you probably don't want to miss out on, to be honest, to claim an egg and see what's a Pokemon you can get out of it. All right. More news up. We got crypto is not regulated in Turkey and it's thriving. It's thriving because of regulation. And this is where, every country has a different view on crypto, right? So yes, I think in terms of regulation, like over-regulation will be something you can see in Japan. So Japan is infamous for allowing Bitcoin early, but over-regulating it. But Turkey is doing the opposite. It's thriving because there's not too much regulation. This is good and bad. I think this is where it's going to be battled out in the future. I feel like countries, like this is at the core. Countries that are open to crypto, they're going to get the next big wave early. It's like, why would you ban internet? Like, imagine if countries, right, started banning internet when it first released, right? Then their tech sector is going to be super out of date because they have to catch up when the world is far more advanced. Right. I think this is absolutely pivotal. So I actually think this is like quite some good news where, countries are realizing that blockchain is going to be the future. And I feel like there should be some changes. I mean, right now, US is just going to be crazy. Everyone's excluding US, but also China. I think China is like blockchain, but not Bitcoin philosophy. I think this really needs to change, because what we're seeing here is the arrival of a new type of finance, right? And this is where, if you kind of hold it back, a country is going to be behind. Anyways, I'm not going to lecture too much about it, but I feel like that's going to be one of the big issues. Now, obviously, that being said, why there's regulation is because people start scamming. So this is one of the situations where it's kind of sad to see this. So there's an Instagram celebrity. Apparently, he was running a $2.5 million Bitcoin scam. So this is Jay Mazzini. So apparently, this is something that I thought only scammers do, but apparently this real person was doing this, where he promised basically people to buy Bitcoin, like send me some money, but apparently he never got it. So let's see. He started offering to buy Bitcoin from his followers at 3 to 5% over market value. So this is running one of those scams that say, "Yo, I want to buy some Bitcoin. Send me your Bitcoin. I'll give you some cash, and I'll give you like 5% extra, 5% extra." And obviously, you know that Bitcoin transactions cannot be reverted. So people sent him Bitcoin, and then they never got the cash. Right? This is like, it's sad to see this, right? Because Bitcoin, obviously, transactions cannot be reverted. You can't go and call a bank. Obviously, you can sue them, which is exactly what's happening. And then, that's fraud. That's actually illegal. People go to jail for that. So it's good to see that enforcement is coming away. But I just want to see I just want to say this, all right? Right now, the space is full of fraud. And one of the reasons why is because Bitcoin transactions cannot be reversed. The moment you send it, it is to that person. It is gone forever, right? And that's something to remember. And something I've been seeing on my side that I want to say is there's a lot of people pretending to be me, right? If you see that going on the bottom, so I think, so what's happening right now, and I have to warn you guys about this, right? Even if you search box mining, all right, first of all, if you search box mining, holy crap, right? Like there's like a million box minings, and what the hell? Okay, so I'll tell you guys something. First of all, these two are legit, but all of these are scammers. So box mining with correct spelling is correct. Box mining news, that is also subsidiary. That's my website channel. But box mining BO mining, box mining ____. These are all scammers. Please report them. And the problem with these fake box minings is that they're going to ask you for money, right? They're like, "Oh, yo, send me some money. I'll double your money." Like, don't ever believe that. There's also fake people on the bottom of my chat nowadays. Like, they pretend to be box mining. We tried our best, right, guys? Like, trust me, I try my best to try to block these people. I'm trying endlessly to basically, anytime there is someone fraudulent there, what I do is I try to post it on Twitter. So I do ask for your help here. Like, for example, this William Sun guy, he's made a fake profile claiming he works for me. All right, like he's on LinkedIn. Apparently, he's putting box mining as a cryptocurrency analyst / advisor at box mining. It's fake. But the problem is, like, LinkedIn, you can't remove that. That's the stupid part, right? I can't go and say I removed this guy. I have to send an email to LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn takes like weeks to reply. So guys, please report these scammers. So this guy is a fake scammer. He's basically pretending to be me and trying to ask projects for money. And then projects obviously send them because they're stupid, right? They don't do a fact check. They do a fake email spoof. They pretend it's someone working for me, and then they get money. And once they get money, they'll have more money to scam people, right? They can hire more scammers, right? That's how it works. So it's kind of depressing, this freaking space. It's just like, so I do ask for your help from time to time, guys. If you guys can help this channel out, it really cleans up the space. It really pisses me off to see something like this. So yeah, there's no such thing as a William Sun. In fact, box mining right now, this is very much a solo operation on my side. Some people are listing themselves as like employees of box mining. These are just pure scammers. So please, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, blocking scammers is also futile. Like, something that's kind of interesting is that I didn't really know the Twitter problem was this big, right? Because I searched box mining just now, and this is I don't see this on my main account, right? This is because I'm on another account called Boxplant. It was just something for fun. Let me move my window here so you guys can see that. So I'm on my Boxplant profile right now. So Boxplant is my new account. But what happens on my own Twitter account, my one, is that unfortunately all these scammers, they block me. So I can never see them. I can never see these scammers unless I go to another profile and see them. So guys, do help me. It's not like I'm not trying. It's like I am trying. We try to get at least like 5 or 6 banned per week, but I think like 30 come in its place. So there we go. And on that note as well, Boxplant, new profile, guys, check it out. This is just as a kind of a parody, funny profile. This is for my plant here. So Boxplant itself, this is my plant. My plant now has a Twitter following. So congrats. It's thanks for that. Yeah. So it is kind of crazy. Joseph Saylor says LinkedIn full of liars and desperate people is a graveyard for job seekers. I think old people use it for cookie hunting and soapbox for Facebook, but I found it useless. The stupid part about LinkedIn is you can add any company to your profile, right? This is the worst part, right? Like even if I go to my company, right? Like let's go for my profile right now. Like I can be like your view. Wait, never mind. Who's not this one, but yeah, let me see. Like you can go to your profile and then you can just edit it. It's the stupidest thing in the world. It's just so dumb. Like you can go be like editor and edit this. Wait, no. I'm very bad at using this. Okay, edit this plus this, and you can add any company, right? You can be like Microsoft. Okay, I'm working at Microsoft, and I'm like CEO of Microsoft, right? And you can just add that on, and then boom, right? You're like, oh, now I'm the new CEO of Microsoft. Congrats, all right, guys. There we go. It's like, congrats. Now someone who views my profile is like, oh, hey, look, this is the CEO of Microsoft now. Okay. LinkedIn is so dumb. Like, and then so the worst part of obviously is that people put that on their profiles. They work at Boxmining, they don't. All right, and then removing that, it becomes a pain in the ass. So, anyways, there we go. Anyways, all right, so that's pretty much it. We also have Harry Hudal says, you're lagging behind. Look at JMY Crypto BitBoy gonna be proactive. Your content is good. So yes and no. So this is kind of funny. I'm talking about BitBoy and stuff. So, all right, this is where it's hard for me to talk a little bit, but I'll talk a little bit about this. So obviously right now, YouTube is a blossoming space for YouTubers, right? A lot of YouTubers are making a lot of content and they're talking about their favorite coins, trying to pump that price up, trying to increase that interest, and then of course they cash out and dump, and it creates this very negative scene. So this year, I definitely see a lot of people, prove that Bitcoin pumps and dumps on their subscribers. So yeah, fuck Bitcoin and BitBoy and other YouTubers. Okay, so YouTube is getting a pretty bad reputation. And this year, I consciously decided to be more of an investment focused than YouTube focused. I kind of see it both ways, right? So I kind of saw that if it's about money, the best way to make money on YouTube is to really make clickbaity titles. This is a 100x moon project, etc., etc. Try to raise interest for that, and then obviously the temptation will be to sell, etc. And I really did not want to go that route. That was very clear this year. So this year I chose to go for a more investment focused approach. So I'm dealing with a lot of asset under management. I'm dealing with both farming and I'm dealing with investing into new projects. And I don't always talk about every single project. I think a lot of people want me to do that. And like, I know that it's a trend, but I also felt like that kind of reputation in the space matters a lot more. Right. So I didn't want to make too flimsy of a videos, just, clickbaity titles. I know it works. I've been in the space long enough to realize it works. But I wanted to make more valuable content and more general content that's more suitable for a wider audience. I felt like, if we're to grow, we should grow together, right? I think it's getting valuable information is more important than getting exciting information. So I've been more focused more on investing and kind of relaying some of the experience back to this channel, which has been kind of my primary goal this year. So for investments have worked super well. I think that's a given, right? So been investing all the way through 2018, 19, 20, and then got into a lot of projects this year, which have been very, very performing super well. Like, yeah. So this is a year where I definitely want to grow the investment side. I don't want to leave you guys behind also. This is where a lot of these live streams are relaying a lot of the information, the key industry information that is coming out. And I really hope you guys appreciate that. So if you guys do appreciate that on that front, smash up the likes. I've been dialing down a lot on the clicky thumbnail stuff. I might go back into that. It's just the way YouTube works. I think I've been in this space long enough to realize that YouTube loves a few certain things like clickbaity titles, 100x moon, oh my God, coming soon. But I've been intentionally not doing too much of that. Just kind of seeing how that goes. Obviously, the performance won't be as well, but I really hope you guys appreciate that. So there we go. Like Jason Wu says, actually, what is the point of thumbnail faces? It's kind of interesting. There's a science behind that too, right? Like you have to have a shocking expression. Like that's been proven. It does better because it increases the click rate. So every time click per impression rate basically is the key statistic that YouTube is looking for. They want something very stunning, and faces really, because humans relate to faces a lot more. So typically speaking, say for example, the best practice on YouTube would be to put a very large face that takes up like at least a third of the screen, and then have an object, right? So that's kind of the winning strategy. But anyway, so we might do it soon. I mean, if people really want this type of stuff, like if people want it, if you guys want it, I'll do it, whatever. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much that discussion. I feel like I do feel like some YouTubers are very overplaying it. I think like BitBoy is running a good business. I really think so. Like I definitely see his hunger. Like he wants to make money. Right. And I would definitely say, this year I've learned better. I congratulate people on their businesses, congrats on your business. Hope that goes well. Everyone uses a different strategy. And hopefully you guys know what's good and bad. But anyways, Harry Hondo says, yeah, he's dumping Bitcoin. I pray he never mentions coin I'm holding. He mentions new cipher. I was holding it, pumped and dumped like crazy. That's a problem with this space. It's like I don't want to shit on other YouTubers, honestly, because I know there are struggles, and honestly, YouTube's not nice to us, right? YouTube has just been pretty brutal to us, and YouTube loves clickbait. It's not a YouTuber. It's not bred by person. It's more bred by the platform. But I intentionally don't do it. I felt like that's not necessary. Although I think, coming to this conclusion, I feel like you're kind of forced to, right? You're kind of forced. You kind of feel like, YouTube. It is YouTube thing. But anyways, guys, smash up those likes, but smash up those likes so Michael doesn't have to go back to clickbait. Well, I don't really have to make YouTube, right? I mean, I think. But anyways, guys, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving you guys. I think this channel, this community has been amazing. I want to give back, and yeah, we'll decide together. We'll decide together what works, what doesn't work, and stuff. Elijah Killen says, "Box, you are the only reason I still use to use YT. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, guys. I really, really appreciate it." Green Okido says, "I was behind the stream, but I just want to say that thanks for not being overly clickbait oriented. It's actually one of the main reasons I started to follow you. Thank you so that. I appreciate that. I appreciate people noticing that. Like, I've gone through the clickbaity phase. I know absolutely it works. I mean, in fact, something like TubeBuddy, there's an analytical tracking engine that you can use to track to see how well your thumbnails perform. And we know, scientifically speaking, that clickbaiting images are way better. It's just a fact, right? And I think the key here is like I would discourage YouTubers from being too clickbaity, especially when it comes to titles. I think it just makes this space nonsense. But also, I would just go to say for YouTubers who do this, right? I understand why. There you go. So, anyways, Llama666, you're the only one I trust on YouTube in this space. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for your trust and respect. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it actually means a lot to me. Thank you guys. So smash up those likes, guys. Appreciate it. Stop showing a Reddit thread with 1 million upvotes. But anyways. But I definitely see this as a problem, like 100x potential. I mean, I've done that before, and something I would say is I've done these clickbaity thumbnails before, and during the video I'll say, let's be reasonable here. But I think a lot of people, why also YouTube gets a bad name is because people only see the thumbnails too. It's all about content. Hopefully we'll be out of this phase. I definitely feel like there needs to be some sort of change in the YouTube algorithm space too. Anyways, okay. All right, last few things are kind of vaguely interesting. Chinese banks are now allowing people to apply for digital yuan wallets. This is coming. So DCEP has been blowing up for a long period of time. China's moving digital. So is the rest of the world. And we got the Fed chair, Powell says digital dollar would need to be stronger privacy than the digital yuan. So this is all kind of talking about this digital currency space, money going digital, right? And this is something that I feel like I'm just going to say with a smile, because a lot of there was a lot of resistance for Bitcoin as a digital currency. Right. But now I feel like the trend has been that every person or every government that has been resistant is now jumping on this digital currency bandwagon. Well, also not Bitcoin, but it also validates a lot of the concepts used here. People know that the future is inevitably Bitcoin. No one wants to handle physical cash anymore. And okay, I just saw my thing going down, but honestly, I feel like this is the way to go. And why I'm smiling is that they're super behind. Give me 1 sec. Let me change my batteries. Yes, batteries. All right. All right, so box is back. All right, we're good. So yeah, every time the batteries always run out after around an hour or so. So yeah, so we extended the stream. Good job, guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming here. We're gonna talk a lot more about our future. Something that's kind of interesting upcoming is a few discussions that I had. One of them is with Hacken, so Dima from Hacken talking about cybersecurity. I actually do feel like I was actually trying to think of a clickbaity title for that, and I kind of settled on this is the most underrepresented industry in crypto. Kind of something like that. We'll see. But anyways, there was a talk with Dima talking about cybersecurity, and this is something that's, if you look at the statistics, right, basically this is such a big industry, and even in the traditional world, like cybersecurity, I have a few friends that are security consultants, but it's way more important in crypto, because crypto contracts, these smart contracts, if they break, they lose a lot of money. And we've seen that every few weeks, like $20 million, $30 million gets stolen from a smart contract, right? So this is something super important, and we kind of talk about why this education is very important to let people understand that contracts must be validated before they get launched, and cybersecurity is super important. So anyways, we'll talk a little. I spoke a little bit with Dima. That's coming up in an upcoming interview. I did a interview with Sandeep from Polygon. And yet again, it's kind of interesting because as this guy's so technical, I was kind of guiding him towards more understanding, general understanding of what the scaling solution and space is. So I'm actually pretty excited. This week I've been super busy, done 2 interviews, and then done a lot of kind of investing in the space. So I'm pretty happy this week with everything. I'm pretty excited for all the interviews that are coming up. And pretty excited also been working a lot on Refinable as well. So Refinable is an NFT platform that I'm helping out with. I'm doing a lot. I'm listed as an advisor, but I also do a lot of the work, just looking at the product and everything, just making sure it's actually good. So yeah, so a lot going on there, a lot going on in the NFT space. I feel like there's a lot of thought going on as well, like in terms of the direction of where everything's going. So yeah, so that's been pretty fun. I hope you guys had a great week as well. Just it could be times, during this week there were times when you see the markets down. Everyone's going to be emotional, including me. I was like, oh my God, market's down. I don't feel like doing anything. But then that's when the time you got to push yourself to do a little bit more work or take some time off, get some relaxation in so you can jump in for the next week. And I feel like that was kind of what's happening there. So guys, I hope you guys are great. I hope everything is going super well. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back for more, a lot of stuff happening. So make sure you guys smash up the likes. Make sure you click the little subscribe button down below. That'll get you a lot of the newest videos coming out. We'll talk a little bit. I think inevitably, I'm gonna do a few videos about what I'm holding. I think that makes a lot of sense, and the reasons why. I think that makes a lot more sense there. So what I'm holding, what I'm looking for, what sectors I'm looking at. I feel like that's kind of the middle ground, I would say, between super clickbaity. These are the low cap gems. And what I find value in this space. I feel like that kind of makes more sense. So I'll kind of gear towards videos towards that. That'll be coming next week. So guys, I really want to thank you guys. Smash up the likes, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today. See you later and find something fun. So yeah, recently I've been trying to fly my FPV drone. Still haven't crashed it yet, so that's been good. I'll hopefully show you some cool clips coming up next week, and have some fun on the weekend as well. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna chill a little bit. I feel like I've been working like way too hard. Like I'm facing exhaustion sometimes. And yeah, so you need to get some rest, relax, enter next market, and I really do feel like rest is important because we're gonna have a major run coming up soon. I mean, if this fall doesn't take crypto down, which is not happening, right? Then that's actually paving the way to something greater. That's my personal belief, not financial advice, but that's what I'm gearing up for. That's what I'm doing, and yeah, really. Really hope you guys get some good rest this weekend. So Dan Bronco says, bro, I've been watching you since 2017. You helped me get into VeChain. You are the best in crypto YouTube. Man, VeChain's been crazy. Like that keeps my heart pounding every day, right? Like that's insanity. Like VeChain is above its all-time highs right now, which is just great. It was not an easy hold, I would have to say. Like that it was rough, right? There were some rough times where, like look at the one year performance. It's like up 28x, 26x, right? That's insane. It's up 2,055%. It's insane. I was just watching this. Like, it's hard not to get excited. Like I do the opposite of every single crypto YouTuber, right? Every crypto YouTuber is like, oh my God, this is the most exciting thing in the world because emotion sells on YouTube. But for me, it's like, if you want to be a good investor, you got to be emotionless, right? You got to be you got to be thinking of strategies rather than emotions. So I kind of feel like I'm always conflicted in this sense. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty hard to start my heart from pounding. I was like, oh my God, this is just insane. And I hope you guys have an insane time as well. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for hopping in today. Smash up the likes, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, I'm gonna do the outro. I'd like to take the time now to tell you a little bit about everything that's happening in the Boxmining ecosystem. First and foremost, if you guys like listening to all that's happening in crypto on the go, then I would highly recommend you checking out the Boxmining Bitcoin Out of the Box podcast. And the reason why it's called Bitcoin Out of the Box is because we have long interview segments very much exploring the detail of the newest and latest of what's going on in this whole cryptocurrency space. Whole idea of it is to bridge that gap between knowledge privileged institutional investors and the rest of us here in this space. Now, with the podcast, it's on everything. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Spotify. Just search it anywhere, Bitcoin out of the box. So just add that onto a playlist and then just follow the new episodes when it's released. Next up, we also have the Boxmining newsletter. So this happens roughly bi-weekly. We give you an update of the latest that's going on in a very summarized, condensed format. So this is perfect for anyone that wants an overview of the market. Say, for example, what's happening with OKX, the biggest event, or maybe the little things like what's happening with different coins and overall the trend. So what I use the newsletter for personally myself is to understand what kind of phase we're in crypto, to kind of get in tune. So if you don't read crypto every day, the newsletter is perfect for you. Last but not least, in the link down below, if you're a Telegram user, we have the Boxmining announcements channel. So this is to announce to you basically what's the latest videos coming up, but also we have a daily update, a community-driven daily update to provide you an idea of the latest updates on a day. And a lot of people have been using that to get informed of the crazy amounts of trends that we see. And I have to give a big thank you for Claudio, our community member, for doing this. It's just been phenomenal. Definitely want to give you a shout out there, Claudio, as well for that. And taking us to the end of the live stream, so make sure, number one, you click like and subscribe on this video because it really does help this channel. And then, of course, check out the podcast. It's one of the best ways to know a little bit more, to extend that knowledge, especially in your spare time. And then, of course, check out the newsletter. If you're, if you want those updates and summaries and trends, newsletter is the place for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a good one. See you in the next video.